we give thanks to you, Alahym, in the name of Yahusha, and bless his mighty and Kadah's name. And pick it up at John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. You will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you that you have not the love of Alahym in you. I come in my Abba's name, and you receive me not. Another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one of another, and seek not the honor that come from Alahym only? Do not think that I will accuse you. The hour there's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how shall you believe my words? Y'all don't need to have a conversation to eat potato chips. Chapter 47. And 1, if you would. Psalms 41, it says, oh, clap your hands, all you. See what we find there. I seen that. They had a whole wrestling pay-per-view in the stadium last night. Now remember, right? This is a song for the sons of Korah. Do you remember who Korah is? We talked about him yesterday. I think one of the divisions of Levi, but this particular Korah is the one from doggone. Because this one's the one that means ball. So this is a song for his sons. I feel like I'm in the wrong place. Yeah, I'm not. Very well. Let's look at triumph, right? It is renad. It's a ringing cry or proclamation or joy of praise. And you have Rosh, Noon, and Hay for that. And you can proceed with that right now. Rosh, Noon, and Hay. Matter of fact, that's the same word that was used for sing, and that's 2 Chronicles 20 and 22 that we looked at yesterday. I look at it. Very well then. That's what we're trying. So with that being said, come to Psalms. So we're gonna look at this a couple of places because we're still talking about singing. So we had to reverse course on what verse we're gonna use. I want you to go to Psalms 107. I want to look at some of the places where this word is used in different spots. I want you to come to Psalm 107, verse 15, if you would. Matter of fact, make it verse 14. It says Psalms 107 and 14. He said, he brought them out of darkness and the shadow of death and break their bands asunder. Oh, that man would praise Yahuwah for his goodness and for his wonderful works towards the sons of men. For he have broken the gates of brass and cut the bars of iron asunder. Fools, because of their transgression and because of their iniquities, are afflicted. So pause. Go over here to Lamentations chapter 3. Well, Lamentations chapter 3 says 1 Peter chapter 2. He say fools because of their iniquities and transgressions are afflicted. Lamentations chapter 3, verse 30. He say he give his cheek to him that smite him. He is filled with reproach. So, of course, gospel-wise, what should you know from that? They slap him. What did they slap him for? What did they say to him when they slapped him? Because he said he's full of reproach, full of dishonor. question. Answer, right? No, that's a different situation. That's somebody who said you don't answer the high priest slow, and he smacked him, and he said, if I've done wrong, then fine. But if not, what you hit me for? Come to Matthew chapter 26 real quick, live. I see you would have got you one. Look, y'all would have do it, man. Yeah. That worked. You're right. $10. I don't think it's okay $10, but it's perfect. Yeah. Now, I think he went and got trained. Then he do wooden pieces, but he could do real jewelry if he wanted to. Yeah. 26 and 26 to 65. I just showed him what I got me one company. Hope that nigga put them brown accents in there that I seen we shared the other day. Brown accents with the gold to match with it. But that nigga got a white one, boy. That ain't my thing. Trav was telling me about it. Oh, he put a picture up on the day. Boy, you went Back to the Future. He got a DeLorean. That nigga is different. That nigga pulled out the DeLorean. Ain't nobody in here would have known that. That's the sad part. 26 and 65, Matthew. Then the high priest rent his clothes, saying he has spoken blasphemy. What further need have we? We'll back that up to verse 63. Yahushua said, it held in shalom, and the high priest answered and said unto him, I adjure you by the living Alahym, that you tell us whether you be the son of Alahym, be the Mashiach, the son of Alahym. Yahushua said unto him, you have said, nevertheless I say unto you, hereafter you shall see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of power, coming in the clouds of heaven. Then the high priest rent his clothes, saying, he have spoken blasphemy. What further need have we witnesses? Behold, now you have heard his blasphemy. What think you? And they answered and said, he is guilty. And they spit in his face and buffeted him, and others smote him with the palm of their hands, saying, prophecy unto us, Mashiach, who is he that smote you? So what is he full of reproach? He's full of dishonor that you received for getting slapped around and spit by bearing your iniquities. Come on to Lamentations chapter 3 yet again, though. We're in verse 31. And it says, for the Lord will not cast off forever. Though he cause grief, yet will he have compassion according to the multitude of his mercies. Now, of course, you know, in Hebrews chapter 12, it says that you have fathers that chastised you before time, and it was grievous. And they did it for their pleasure. But he did it that you might be a partaker of his kadoshness and his righteousness. Let's continue. He said, for he do not afflict willingly, nor grieve the sons of men, to crush under his feet all the prisoners of the earth, to turn aside the right of a man before the face of the Most High, to subvert a man in his cause, the Lord approved not. He say, who is he that saith, and they come to pass, when the Lord commanded not? You see that one there? Remember what he said about people if what he told you about a false prophet? That if they speak a word and it don't come to pass, not to fear them. See, Paul, let's come over here to Deuteronomy 18. Deuteronomy 18 and 20. But the prophet which shall presume to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, or shall speak in the name of other gods, even that prophet shall die. And if you say in your heart, how shall we know the word which Yahuwah has spoken? When a prophet speak in the name of Yahuwah, if the thing follow not, nor come to pass, that is the thing which Yahuwah have not spoken. And the prophet that has spoken it presumptuously, you shall not be afraid of him. So he's letting you know. Come on back to Lamentations chapter 3, what we're looking at. That, hey, who is he that can bring something to pass when Yahuwah ain't the one who spoke it? There's a lot of stuff people be jumping out there saying, boy, Yahuwah ain't spoke that word, boy. And a lot of times people be telling people, be tripping me out with the prophets of the Lord. You're not a prophet if you read out a text, man. That don't make you no prophet. Because you standing on the street corner reading out the book, does not, they know what they're saying, the prophet's back in town. When did Yahuwah come visit you in a vision or a dream? When if you say, thus saith Yahuwah, and spoke something and it came to pass, and you spoke it before it happened. You telling me what Obadiah 1 and 5 say don't make you no prophet. You know what I'm saying? You telling me what Judges chapter 5 verse 12 say don't make you no prophet. You just a man reading the book. You might not be no teacher. That's why I say you just a man reading the book. And for some of them, they a nigga reading the book. And for some of that, they ain't even that. They low-level slime reading the book. You're a wicked bastard who done swallowed, trying to take this word, man, the words of this man covenant in your mouth. But when you walk away from the street corner, you cast this man words behind your back. You know what I'm talking about? And do what you want to do. And you can't spare nobody for that. All that, oh, we black and we Israel, you're going to be blackened in hell. You know what I'm talking about? Because he going to charge grill you. Because that man don't operate like that. If you wicked, then you wicked. He going to say, call a spade a spade. Back to Lamentation chapter 3. We're in verse 38. Listen what he say. Out the mouth of the Most High proceed not evil and good. See, Crab called me yesterday. He was talking about that. A lot of people don't want to look at that. Evil and good come out that man's mouth at the same token. How do we know evil and good come out his mouth at the same token? Well, let's just hold it. Well, let me finish verse 39, right? Before we move on. Wherefore do a living man complain a man for the punishment of his sins? Why? And you can look at that as that, my Alahym, why have you forsaken me? Why are you complaining for the punishment of your sins? But it wasn't his sins, but it was his sins, because he said the reproaches of them that reproach me, that's falling on me. So what was your sins became his sins, so you wouldn't have no sin. So he's asking him, what you lamenting about that for? See, that go back what I was going to get in 1 Peter chapter 2, but I just tell you what it say. You read it for yourself. It's about verse 18, 19, somewhere in there where it started at. He said, you know, if you get buffeted for your faults, what thank have you for that? He said, but if you did nothing wrong and you get afflicted, he say, and you take it patiently, then Alahym will accept you. You know what I'm talking about? See, let's go back to what we're looking at over here in Psalms 107, what we swing over here for. That he broke the man asunder, that men would praise Yahuwah for his goodness. If you would understand that you was a transgressor and a sinner like Buddy in Luke 18, who would smote his breast and wouldn't even look towards heaven and say, Alahym, be merciful for me, a sinner, then you would praise this man for his wonders and his works. See, that's what individuals don't realize, why he told them to sing them songs. This is one of the reasons why David appointed them to do that. You know what I'm talking about? We get caught up in that. Only thing we want to sing a song about is he gonna destroy the wicked. And 99.9% of the time, the individuals who singing that, they the wicked, and he gonna kill them. And they gonna be looking around crazy. Well, like, why me? What did I do? Oh, nigga, you know what you did. You know what I'm saying? You know that little boy over there, you touched him. You know you touched him. You know what I'm talking about? You know, it's a lot of stuff be going on. A lot of that stuff is allegedly, because none of us have first-hand information. But there's a lot of stuff be going on with some of these dudes, man. And you know what people do? Sweep it right up under the table, because they feel like you don't want us to look bad in the eyesight of the public. And white people don't care about you. You ain't big enough for them to be concerned about you, because you're not fooling with nothing that they're concerned with. You're not messing with their money. You're not messing with their infrastructure, and you're not messing with their worship of whatever deity that they want to worship by condemning them openly about what they're doing. So how are you a threat to them? They're not scared of you because you're going off on some grounds, planting some crops. That don't bother them. Why does it bother them? Because you had to pay them for the land. You got to pay them tax for the land every year. If they want to take the land, they can take it. So that's not a threat to them. In realistic terms, that's not knocking nobody on nothing. We just talking about realistic terms of being an actual threat to a particular structure. You farming is not a threat, because they can do things legislatively to be able to control that if they so chose. You understand? But if you as the fact that when you look at John the Baptist was a threat to Herodias. Why? Because he was rebuking her husband, saying it's not lawful for you to be married to her. That's a threat to her. Let me come up with a way to remove him. See, when you're openly rebuking these people for unrighteousness, and it can be seen on a mass scale that can threaten their power structure, now you're a threat. You know what I'm saying? If you're pointing out that the deities they worship are pagan, or really pagan gods, and the work of men's hands openly, so a mass amount of people can see it, then you're a threat. If you are at a mass level promoting the gospel of Yahushua and pointing people to Yahuwah, then you a threat. You ain't a threat to nobody because you walk around with Yahuwah on a t-shirt or Yahuwah on a chain. Average person don't even know what this says. Because what the average person gonna do when they see you with it, they're gonna ask you, what does that mean? So that's not a threat if you're ignorant to it. When you're threatened by something, that means you are aware of the possible implications of the effect that said event or said person can have on whatever it is that you got going on. That's why Yahushua was a threat to the scribes. Yeah. That was going in. Oh, I know I was going. Say out of his mouth comes good and evil. Zephaniah chapter 1. Zephaniah chapter 1 and verse 14. The great day of Yahuwah is near. It is near. Shalom, man. And hasten greatly. Even the voice of the day of Yahuwah, the mighty man shall cry there bitterly. The day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness, gloominess, a day of thick clouds, and thick darkness, a day of the trumpet, an alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers. And I will bring distress upon men, that they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against Yahuwah, and their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh is dung, and neither shall their silver nor their gold be able to deliver them in the day of Yahuwah's wrath, but the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, and he shall make an even speedy radiance of them that dwell in the land. We would be able to ascertain that that is evil. Let's hear good coming from his mouth in the same chapter, if you would. We ain't got to go far. Verse 17. Of Zephaniah chapter 3. Yahuwah Alahym is in the midst of you, is mighty, he will save, he will rejoice over you, he will rest in his love. He will joy over you with singing. I will gather them that are sorrowful for the solemn assembly, who are of you to whom the reproach of it was a burden. A burden at that time will I undo all that afflict you, and I will save her that halt, and gather her that was driven out, and I will give them praise and fame in every land where I have put them to shame. And at that time will I bring you again, even in the time that I gather you, and I will make you a name and a praise among all the people of the earth. When I turn back your captivity before your eyes, saith Yahuwah. Now, when you look at out of the mouth of Yahuwah come good and evil as pertaining to Mashiach, the evil was he told him that you would have to die. The good is that he rose him from the dead because he told him this. Let's come back to Lamentations chapter 3. This is one of the reasons why they can sing praises to his name, because he's done wonderful things. Trying to make sure I read it. 2 verses behind that. What is that, verse 40? I think I read verse 40. He said, let us search and try our ways and turn again to Yahuwah. Let us lift up our heart with our hands under Alahym in the heavens. That will come around with praise. Come on back to Psalms 107. We're in verse 18 of Psalms 107. He said, their soul abhor all manner of meat, and they draw near unto the gates of death. You can look at that in regards when they tried to slide him that vinegar when he was on the stake, and he didn't take it. He sent his word and healed them and delivered them from their destruction. Oh, that men would praise Yahuwah for his goodness and for his wonderful works to the sons of men. So, of course, you know, he sent his word because he said in the beginning was the word was Alahym, and the word was with Alahym, and that he manifested that word towards men because the word was made flesh. But let's continue. And let them sacrifice the sacrifices of thanksgiving and declare his works with rejoicing. That they go down to the sea in the ships, so that they do business in great waters. When we look at the rejoicing, that is that word renah, or a word for praise. Come to Psalms 118. I don't want your bacon. After Psalms 118, Psalms 126. Psalms 118, man, about verse 7. Shoot, make it verse 5. I called upon Yahuwah in distress. Shalom, man. Yahuwah answered me and set me in a large place. Yahuwah is on my side. I will not fear what man can do unto me. Remember what the Lord told you, right? He told you don't fear man who can do what? Kill the body. And that's all that he can do. Fear Alahym. Yahuwah take my part with them that help me. Therefore shall I see my desire upon them that hate me. Pause. Let's get his Revelation 18. Let you see your desire on them that hate you. What is your desire on them that hate you? Your desire is that they perish. I would be waiting to put money on. You know what I'm saying? Ain't Micah told you that? Micah said they're gonna eat the dust. I guess we can read that too. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. Psalms 118. Revelation 18. Revelation 18 and 18. Eugene. Mm-hmm. And cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? See, this is one of the biggest mistakes. Again, they try to tell you that America is Babylon. They said it's a city. But let's continue. And they cast down on their heads and cried, weeping, wailing, saying, alas, alas, the great city wherein we were made rich, and all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness, for in 1 hour she is made desolate. Rejoice over her, you Shamahim, and you Kadash apostles and prophets, for Alahym have avenged you on her. So we look at rejoice, he's looking at the same praise, but who you singing praise to? You singing praise to Alahym. He said, he told you to rejoice. I didn't tell you to rejoice. He said, I read it again, rejoice over her. No. So he said, everybody in heaven rejoice over her. He said, every Kadesh apostle and prophet rejoice over her. Because Alahym has avenged you on her. So why would he tell the apostles and prophets to rejoice? Yahushua already told you that he would send you wise men and apostles and you would slay them. You know what I'm saying? All those apostles and prophets will testify against this whore. And what did that whore do? She slayed them. What the men said up under the altar in another chapter in Revelation? How long, O Yahuwah Kadash and truth, will you not avenge our blood upon these people who done shed it? He said, just go ahead and take these robes right here, brother, and you just rest for a little season. Because there's a few more people of your brethren, just like you, they got to be slain for the word. So be easy. You know what I'm saying? He said, we're telling them to be easy. That's a light thing. You talking about killing niggas? You talking about Yahuwah coming through killing people? What did Yahushua tell you when it came to that? Not even that. I'm talking about the unjust judge. He said, man, I can avenge you speedily. He said, but nevertheless. He said, you crying to him day and night. He said, nevertheless, I will avenge them speedily. He said, but will I find faith when the Son of Man come on the earth? He said, don't you worry about that. I hear you crying. I'm tired of you calling on me, asking me to kill these people. You know what I'm talking about? That's nothing for me to do. Man, let me tell y'all something, man. For Yahuwah to execute vengeance is as easy as you snapping your finger. That's nothing. You know what I'm talking about? You ain't even asking him for nothing. You ain't even got to ask him to avenge you because he want to kill these people anyway. You know what I'm saying? And not because he just want to kill for the sake of killing, but they blaspheming his name. They disregarding his covenant. They destroying the earth, and they oppressing the righteous. So on them tenets alone, you know what I'm talking about? He want to come see him for that. Like you have to understand. See, this is what I mean when I say the nuance. You're not paying attention to what's in the text. You're not paying attention to what he say. Yeah, he want to see them people because they taking out Israel. They messing with Israel. But not because you Israel, you have to be righteous. You think he shed a tear because they killed that dude in Brunswick. And that dude in Brunswick was a sinner. Yahuwah don't care. That means the same good that can come out his mouth, he spoke the same evil to take him out. See, unfortunately, in this generation, you don't want to believe that Yahuwah sees black men as being wicked unless it's somebody you don't like. If you don't walk in holiness and the faith of Yahushua, the man see you as wicked, and there is no exception. He ain't looking at it. That's a black man. He can't be wicked. That same black man you say ain't wicked is a whoremonger, is an idolater, is a liar. That man say liars are an abomination to him and they won't dwell in his house. Well, guess what? The earth is his house. The earth is his house. That man can get you out of here when he feels like it. This man don't like wickedness. That's what he don't like. And he will get it from around him. But we don't consider. Because like I said, you done took this man's word and made it a black power movement. And it's about Yahuwah and Yahushua. It's not about that. You got to get on their standard. He ain't giving you no pass because of your skin pigmentation if your heart is filthy. So we talking about first fruits today, and I got to hurry and speed it up to get to that particular point. So I mentioned to Jeremiah chapters 50 and 51. We went over it not too long ago, did we not? And didn't he say that because of all that the slain of Israel fell in Babylon, that the slain of the whole world would fall in Babylon? Well, the slain of Israel ain't falling because they Israel. The slain of Israel falling because they were testifying against the wickedness going on in Babylon. Well, we're a little unstable. Now we back. Because what if you righteous and Babylon worshiping false deities, what would you be doing? You would be testifying against that. You're gonna say we don't serve no Shadrach, no Baal. We don't fool with that. You can't be no pedophile. I'm gonna say what you done brought you some extra church. Came in here with your nightclub. Hello. You came in here with your nightclub. You got that bonnet on in public. Running streets. You go to your son's school dressed like that? Yeah, you do. Embarrassing that boy. He said, my mama don't come up here like that no more. I know that's what you be doing. I know. Verse 21. Revelation 18 and 21. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus, with violence shall the great city Babylon be thrown down, and she be bound no more at all. And the voice of harpers, musicians, and of pipers, trumpeters shall be no more heard of her, and all, no craftsman, or whatsoever crafty be, shall be found any more in her, in you. The sound of a millstone shall be no more heard at all in you. The light of a candle shall shine no more at all in you. The voice of the bridegroom and the bride shall be heard no more at all in you. For your merchants were the great men of the earth, for by their sorceries were all nations deceived. So Paul, an ignorant man in this day and time, will say pharmakia. See, again, this is why I done told y'all about certain stuff and even pointing to certain celebrities that they're witches and warlocks because they deal with these particular matters. Being a hermeticist, look it up for yourself, who Hermes is. You've seen Hermes' logo anytime you've seen an ambulance. The caduceus with the intertwining serpents, that's for Hermes. You know what I'm talking about? Look into Kabbalah, see what it is. When we were talking to you about the Shekinah and all that stuff with them chakras, all that stuff is dealing with sorceries and witchcraft. It's to bewitch you. To bewitch you to serve another deity and all the things that go along with service to that deity. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to study certain things in history, man, see what's going on. He's saying in her was found the blood of the prophets and of the saints and of all that was slain upon the earth. That's why he was telling you to rejoice. Hey. Come on back over here to Psalms 118. And be quiet. Psalms 118, verse 7. You going to bathroom? Indeed, sir. Indeed. Ain't nothing wrong with you, Grandma. And man, it is better to trust in Yahuwah than to put confidence in princes. All nations compass me about, but in the name of Yahuwah will I destroy them. They compass me about, yea, they compass me about, in the name of Yahuwah I will destroy them. They compass me about like bees. They are quenched as a fire of thorns. For in the name of Yahuwah I will destroy them. You thrust sore at me that I might fall, but Yahuwah help me. Yahuwah is my strength and song, and it's become my salvation. The voice of rejoicing and salvation is in the tabernacles of the righteous. The right hand of Yahuwah doeth valiantly. The right hand of Yahuwah is exalted. The right hand of Yahuwah do valiantly. I shall not die but live and declare the works of Yahuwah. Notice what he said, right? Yahuwah is his strength and his song, and in the house of the righteous, there's always renah and salvation. Praise and salvation is always in the house of the righteous. You understand? That's why the joy of Yahuwah is your strength, because the praise of Yahuwah is what will bring strength to your soul. But let's come back to where we was at, and that's Psalms 47. I need no more examples. So, of course, what he said with that, you look at that Rosh Noon, and hey, you could be that can say, behold, the highest is life. When you're sitting back and you're singing that ringing choir, that proclamation of joy and praise, right? So he told the people to shout unto Alahym with triumph. Shout unto Alahym is life, that you can behold that. You can see that. Verse 2 of Psalm 47. He said, for Yahuwah Most High is terrible. He is a great king over all the earth. He shall subdue the people under us and the nations under our feet. He shall choose our inheritance for us, the excellency of Jacob, whom he loves, Selah. Alahym has gone up with a shout, Yahuwah with the sound of a trumpet. Well, you know what the sound of the trumpet is. Whether you see it in Isaiah 27, whether you read it in Matthew 24, or whether you see it in 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, that on that last great day, what's going down? A trumpet being blown, is it not? Ain't that what it says? Remember, how many trumpets get blown in the book of Revelation? How many trumpets got blown in Jericho? What happened when that 7 trumpets blew in Jericho? So that's the same thing gonna happen when the Lord comes. Them 7 trumpets blow, the walls coming down. What did the house of Yasharal do when the walls fell in Jericho? They rejoiced as well and shouted. Let's look at it. Book of Joshua. It's been a long time since we dealt with that too. Kids came to mind. That's why I meant. Chapter 5, verse 13. I don't want verse 13. Chapter 6 and verse 1. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now Jericho was straightly shut up because the sons of Yasharal, none went out, none came in. You would have said unto Yahushua, see, I've given into your hand Jericho, and the king thereof, and the mighty men of valor. You shall compass the city, all you men of war, and go round about the city once. You shall do 6 days. 7 priests shall bear 7 before the ark, 7 trumpets of a ram's horn. And on the 7th day you shall compass the city 7 times, and the priest shall blow with the trumpets. Don't let her tell you again. And it shall come to pass that when they make a noise, make a long blast with the ram's horn, and when you hear the sound of the trumpet, all the people shall shout with a great shout, and the wall of the city shall fall down flat, and the people stand up every man straight before him. We can drop down a little bit. Verse 12. Yahushua rose up early in the morning, and the priest took up the ark of Yahuwah. The priest bearing the 7 trumpets of ram's horns before the ark of Yahuwah went on continually, blew the trumpets, and the armed men went before them. But the reward came after the ark of Yahuwah, the priest going on, blowing with the trumpets. And the 2nd day they compassed the city once and returned into the camp, and so they did 6 days. It came to pass on the 7th day that they rose early about the dawning of the day, and compassed the city after the same manner 7 times. Only on that day they compassed the city 7 times. And it came to pass at the 7th time when the priest blew with the trumpets, Yahushua said unto the people, shout, for Yahuwah have given you the city. So let's drop down to verse 20. So the people shouted when the priest blew with the trumpets, and it came to pass when the people heard the sound of the trumpet, the people shouted with a great shout, and the wall fell down flat. So the people went up into the city, every man straight before him, and the city they took. Now let's see what this word for shout is over here. The word for shout here is ruah. You got Rosh, U, and Ayin, and you can proceed. It's a shout in triumph, a war cry, alarm for battle, or shout for joy. You got Rosh, U, and Ayin. U, and Ayin. Lodale. Word establishment. All right. Anybody else? That's what you say now? Shout. Shout. They gave a shout. The word is wow. Oh, you boo-boo. You's a nasty little boy there. Nasty little boy. Pop that toilet. You got a bowel movement? Oh, do you even know what that is? I didn't think so. Oh, he cried. I'm sorry to hear that. In the word shout, right? Mm-hmm. I'm trying to find another way to explain it. I didn't say what I got. Mm-hmm. Highest. John. And sir. And who? So, you said I ain't. Oh, you guys saying conversion is what we saying? Well, you can definitely look at it if you pair to the highest, you become one with your soul in that regard. And or the one that you mentioned, the purpose of the whole thing is that you establish to him and that you would know him. If you converge with the soul, you know him as well. Because that's why you shout. The conversion is because of the trust. You know what I'm saying? That's why they shouting for joy. And that takes us back to what we've seen in Psalms 47, that in the house of the righteous. You know what I'm saying? When you turn around and you look at that, anywhere in Yahuwah's house, there's praise and salvation. That's why I was telling you there yesterday. I've always tripped why Bruce had a problem with that. You know what I'm saying? I never understood that. Whether people sing or not, you know what I'm saying? To have a problem with that, it makes no sense. Come on back to Psalms 47. This is verse 5 yet again. Alahym is gone up with a shout, Yahuwah with the sound of a trumpet. Sing praises to Alahym. Sing praises unto our King. Sing praises, for Alahym is the King of all the earth. Sing you praises with understanding. Alahym reign over the heathen. Alahym sit upon the thrones of his Kadash. The princes of the people are gathered together, even the people of the Alahym of Abraham. For the shields of the earth belong unto Alahym. He is greatly exalted. Now, he just told you to sing praises. Sing praises here is Zamar. This is to sing praise and to make music. And again, you have Zayin, Mim, and Rosh. And you can proceed with that. This is to sing praise or to make music. So again, like I told you before, there's no such thing as gospel music. There's no such thing as truth music. It's simply music of praise, music of joy. That's what it is. This is what the text describes it as. You can try to call it whatever you want to call it. So you know what I'm saying? But if it tell you to sing praises or make music to him, you should not have a problem with people who choose to do so. You know what I'm saying? Not me personally. I wouldn't regulate that more than anything. But see, that's not my job. You know what I'm talking about? Remember what Paul told them people when he said, he didn't send me to baptize. You know what he told them? He said he sent me to preach this gospel. I'm not or just like we read with who? With Heman. What was it said that they were free to do what? Make songs, period. That was their job. See, that go back again when we talking about, yes. See, everybody want to look at everybody in the body and feel like everybody don't have that job. You know what I'm saying? It's somebody in that body, his job is to sing songs. That's his job. See, that's not my job. That's not what I do. I put work on the street. You know what I'm talking about? So I'm going to be more inclined to put work on the street. I ain't going to want to sing for 2-3 hours. I'm going to want to put work on the street for 2-3 hours, maybe 6. But if this brother over here want to sing for an hour or so, I ain't going to stop it. Especially not on no Sabbath. Where you got to go? You know what I'm talking about? What you got to do? You ain't got nothing to do. You ain't got nowhere to go. So you mean to tell me you're going to be upset? I know where it comes from. Some of y'all have memories in church. Like, still singing. I'm ready to go. But you felt that way because, number one, your soul wasn't getting fed. Number two, you didn't want to be there because your people were making you go on. Number three, you felt like it was full of crap. And number four, the little hussies in there were looking good to you. You know what I'm saying? Your little man was itching. And you like to see, I want to talk to her when service I spoke with. And you ready to run back out there with your bald-headed friends and smoke your reefer. And you know what I'm saying? And do whatever it was you're doing. Because if it wasn't for your mammy, you wasn't going to be there. But see, now that's not the case. You say you love the man. You say you believe in the man. So to sing praises to the man should not offend you. Much less it shouldn't bother you to hear his word. Both of those things should bring great joy to your soul. You know what I'm saying? That's what the word's saying. Because if you got in the houses of the righteous is praise and salvation, that means that the praise and the word is in the same place. Oh, these niggas were told. That's why I be saying that these dudes is trash. Why I say it again, why I say they trash? Because they don't take the time to look in the text for the purpose of honoring and esteeming the Alahym and for the edification of the people. It is nothing but for the exaltation of man and for the purpose of arguing and debating with other people who lack understanding as they do. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. Now look at this last part where he said to sing praises with understanding. And we've talked about that. What y'all came up with that Zamar, with that Alahym, Meme, and Ross? Yeah, you say you're fruitful, huh? The Ruach of the highest brings forth fruit. And that's what we're here today to talk about, right? First fruits is not. Praise the Lord, because that allows us to transition smoothly. And let us transition to First Chronicles chapter 16 before we get to the book of Exodus. Thank pot. You tired? 16. First Chronicles 16. Lizzie. Where's Tubby Man? There's Tubby Man. Yes. Yes. First Chronicles 16:1. So they brought the ark of Alahym and set it in the midst of the tent that David had pitched for it. And they offered burnt sacrifices, and burnt offerings and peace offerings before Alahym. Let me get to it over here. Now, of course, that understanding is the call. That's that word to be circumspect or be wise or to have proper discernment. So when we actually sing in praises, let me read that to you again, that word, that definition again. When we sing in praises, we're supposed to know what we're talking about. Remember, that's the call. It is to be prudent, to be wise, to understand, or to prosper, or to have insight, to be prudent, to have comprehension. You're supposed to sing those praise. So if Zamar is Zayim, Meme, and Rosh, and that the Ruach of the highest is fruitful, or produces offspring, or matter of fact, since I just got to do it, the Ruach of the highest is fruitful. Galatians chapter 5. Let's take a journey. Little Joe. Little Joe say, free me. Christian. What's up? You all right? And 22. Tubby man. Tubby man. Come here, Tubby man. Galatians 5 and 22. But the fruit of the Ruach is love, joy, shalom, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no Torah. So if we sit back and you look at it, you singing praises with understanding, you would have the comprehension to know that when you sing praises to Alahym, that the praises of his long-suffering, his gentleness, his goodness, the faith, the self-control, the love, the joy, and the peace will be encapsulated in that praise. Let's return to 1 Chronicles chapter 16. First Chronicles 16 and 1. He says, so they brought the ark of Alahym and set it in the midst of the tent that David had pitched for it, and they offered burnt sacrifices and shalom offerings before Alahym. And when David had made an end of offering burnt offerings and peace offerings, he blessed the people in the name of Yahuwah. And he dealt to every one of Yasharal, both men and women, to every one a loaf of bread, a good piece of flesh, and a flagon of wine. What verse 3 sound like to you? Marriage supper of the Lamb. Because he said he brought the ark in his tent. Well, when Yahushua come in his tent, he coming in Jerusalem. Just continue to record and to thank and praise Yahuwah, Alahym of Yasharal. Let's look at the word praise here. First thing with record, I want you to understand that the word record here is zakar. It's a word that you should remember. It is to make a memorial or a remembrance. So when it tells you to record that the ministers bear the ark of Yahuwah and they remember to thank and praise Yahuwah. See, that's a lot of things that a lot of people don't do. You don't remember Yahuwah. He said, you know, you forgot him many days without number. Now, praise here is halal. It is hay and it's two lamaz. And it is the shine, it is the boast, it is the praise. And you can go ahead and give me something for that. You got hay and two lamaz. Reveal the teaching of the leader. You said shine? It means to shine, also to praise, glory. I would say that. This is the step. Haters, bro. Yeah, I mean, you can just look at it as the life of the shepherd's teachers. Because of the breath, because of that ruach. That's what you're praising him for. That's what you're honoring him for. And the reason why we have to focus on that breath, we talk about first fruit. You know, on this day, a couple millenniums ago, the ruach was given. That's what it was given, as a permanent indwelling. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to clarify that for people who like, you know, the ruach always been around. Duh, that's common sense. But it never permanently dwelt with a man. I'm good in Galatians 5. Let's continue. Verse 5, 1 Chronicles 16. Asaph, the chief. Next to him, Zechariah, Yehiel, Shamarach, Yehiel, Mattathiah, Elab, Benaiah, Obed-Edom, hailed with the psalteries and with the harps, but Asaph made a sound with cymbals. Benaiah and Yaziel, the priests, with trumpets, continually before the ark of the covenant of Alahym. And listen to what we see. And in that day, did David delivered first this song to thank Yahuwah into the hand of Asaph and into his brethren. Now, when we look at here, that word for psalm is yada, and that is to give thanks or to confess the name of Alahym or to laud and to praise Alahym. You have yad, dalet, and hey. You know that yard, you should already be coming through. You're bringing worship in off top. Yard, dalet, and hay. What's the word? Song. Because that's in italics. Oh, here, so this psalm is not actually contained. It's not actually written. It's in italics. That's why you don't hear the word that you anticipating for song, because that's not what's there. What's there is that then on that day, David delivered praise to thank Yahuwah into the hand of Asaph and his brethren. Because it says Rosh Yada. So it said, then David first praised Yahuwah, praise to thank Yahuwah into the hand of Asaph and his brethren. So that's the first thing he set to do.
I see why they put songs to the word.
Indeed. They wouldn't have had no choice. They were stuck. They didn't know how to be able to convey that to their audience. So when you look at it, you got worship and you got dalet and you got hey. All it is that you're going to worship Yahushua at the door. Because then we just see that in Ezekiel 46, worshiping at that new moon gate. You're going to worship Yahushua at the door. Let's continue. Verse 8 of 1 Chronicles 16. Give thanks unto Yahuwah. Call upon his name. Make known his deeds among the people. Sing unto him. Sing psalms unto him. Talk you of all his wondrous works. Now, when you got sing songs unto him, it don't got the word for song you're looking for again. Again, you have zamar, the word that we just spoke about. And on that one, you can look at it and say to sing praises unto him. You can turn around and take that Zayin and say he done cut off the blood of his son. Because you would be bearing witness to the wonderful works of the sacrifice and resurrection of Yahushua HaMashiach. You would sing that amongst the people. Listen what he tell you. Glory you in his Kadash name, and let the heart of them rejoice that seek Yahuwah. Well, let's look at rejoice again. See what they have here for rejoice. Now you have Samach, which is to be glad. The cause to rejoice or to be glad. Seek Yahuwah in his strength and seek his face continually. Remember his marvelous works that he have done, his wonders, and the judgments of his mouth. O seed of Yasharal, his servant, you sons of Jacob, his chosen ones. He is Yahuwah Alahym, his judgments are all in the earth. Be you mindful always of his covenant, the word which he commanded to 1,000 generations, even to the covenant which he made with Abraham and an oath and of his oath unto Isaac. And he confirmed the same to Jacob for a law and to Yasharal for everlasting covenant. Saying unto you, I will give you the land of Canaan, the lot of your inheritance. Let's pause and let's take a look at that. Ezekiel chapter 48. Ezekiel 48 and 1. Because we looked at some things in Ezekiel 47 yesterday, right? By the dividing up of that land. Or Friday, one and two. Ezekiel 48 and 1. These are the names. Now, these are the names of the tribes. From the north end to the coast, the way of Hebron, as one go to Hamath, and Hazaron, the border of Damascus, northward to the coast of Hamath, These are his sides, east, west, a portion for Dan. How many of y'all heard somebody say Dan ain't getting in? But you just seen out the mouth of the prophet, which is coming from the mouth of Yahuwah, that Dan has a portion in the land. Let's look at portion. It don't even say portion. It says for his sides, east and west, one Dan. So that's just, hey, that's Dan's spot. Let's continue. And by the border of Dan, from the east side unto the west side for Asher. And by the border of Asher, from the east side, even unto the west side, a portion for Naphtali. And by the border of Naphtali, from unto the west side, a portion for Manasseh. And by the border of Manasseh, from the east side unto the west side, a portion for Ephraim. And by the border of Ephraim, from the east side unto the west side, a portion for Reuben. And by the border of Reuben, from the east side unto the west side, a portion for Yehudah. And by the border of Yehudah, from the east side unto the west side, shall be the offering which you shall offer, 25,000 reeds in breadth, and in length as one of the other parts, from the east side unto the west side, and the sanctuary shall be in the midst of it. Now notice the way you say the sanctuary is in the midst of that, by the border of Judah. Now why would the sanctuary be in the midst of the border of Judah? Number one, Judah occupies which gate? The north gate. And of course, Judah gonna be in the midst of it because Yahuwah and the Lamb are the temple of it. Let's continue. The oblation that you shall offer unto Yahuwah shall be of 5 and 20,000 in length and 10,000 in breadth. And for them, even for the priests, shall be this Kadash oblation. Let's say what the oblation is for those who don't know. We talked about it before. It is turmah, and that is a heave offering, any offering, an offering of grain of money or a contribution. You got Tyrosh, Mim, and Hay for that. But let's continue. Verse 10 of Ezekiel 48. And for them, even for the priest, shall be this Kadash oblation toward the north. And towards the west, 10,000 in breadth, 10,000 east, 10,000 in breadth. Towards the south, 25,000 in length. And the sanctuary of Yahuwah shall be in the midst thereof. It shall be the priests that are sanctified of the sons of Zadok, which have kept my charge, which went not astray when the sons of Yasharal went astray, as the Levites went astray. What y'all know about Zadok? Why is the sons of Zadok here? What did Zadok do for his sons to be chosen in this capacity?
That was righteous.
Come over here to 2 Samuel, right? Yeah, Samuel chapter 8. We'll do a brief thing on Zadok because we've been supposed to been doing it, but do it real quick. Run it down. Go on about up here.
Wow.
2 Samuel 8 and 14. Matter of fact, make it 8 and 14 is fine. And he put garrisons in Edom throughout all Edom. Put he garrisons, and all they of Edom became David's servants, and Yahuwah preserved David whithersoever he went. David reigned over all Yasharal. David executed justice and judgment unto all the people. Joab, the son of Zariah, was over the host. Jehoshaphat, the son of Elud, was the recorder. And Zadok, the son of Ahud, and Amalek, the son of Abathar, were the priests. And Sariah was the scribe. You done seen the names of all these men before, and their offspring. But Zadok was a priest during the time of David. 2 Samuel chapter 15. Second Samuel 15 to 21. Matter of fact, 24. Get straight to the point. And the Zadok also, and all the Levites were with them, bearing the ark of the covenant of Alahym. They set down the ark of Alahym. Abathar went up until all the people had done passing out of the city. And the king said unto Zadok, carry back the ark of Alahym into the city, and if I shall find favor in the eyes of Yahuwah, he will bring me again and show me both it and his habitation. But if he does say, I have no delight in you, behold, here am I. Let him do to me as seemeth good unto him. The king also said unto Zadok the priest, are you not a seer? Return into the city in Shalom, you and your 2 sons with you, Amahaz and your son, Jonathan, the son of Abathar. See, I will tarry in the plain of the wilderness until there come word from you to certify me. Zadok therefore and Abathar carried the ark of Alahym again to Jerusalem, and they tarried there. So the next thing you see with Zadok is that he bared the ark of the covenant. He did exact, and he was a prophet at the same time. Let's go around here to 2 Samuel chapter 15. We'll drop down a little bit more. Pick it up at we can pick it up at verse 30. It ain't no Bob, man. David went up in the ascent of Mount Olivet and wept as he went up, and it had his head covered, and he went barefoot, and all the people went with him, covered every man his head, and they went up weeping as they went up. It's the other verse they say, see, David was praying with his head covered, and it said they were weeping. Ain't say nothing about they were praying. And one told David, saying, Ahithophel is among the conspirators with Absalom. And David said, O Yahuwah, I pray you turn the counsel of Ahithophel into foolishness. And this is another thing which made Zadok stand out. Zadok didn't switch out like some of the other priests did and ride with Absalom. He stayed with David the whole time. Because y'all do know some of the Levites switched. You know some of the people switched out and rode with Absalom. And it came to pass that when David would come to the top of the mount where he worshipped Alahym, behold, Hushai the Archite came to meet him with his coat rent and earth upon his head. Unto whom David said, if you pass on with me, then you shall be a burden unto me. But if you return to the city and say unto Absalom, I will be your servant, O king, as I've been your father's servant hitherto, so will I also be your servant, that you for me defeat the counsel of Ahithophel. And had you not there with you Zadok and Abathar the priest? Therefore it shall be that the thing soever you hear out of the king's house, you shall tell it to Zadok and Abathar the priest. Behold, they have here with me their 2 sons, Amahaz Zadok's son, and Jonathan Abathar's son, and by them you shall see everything that you can hear. See, they didn't turn. The high priest stayed loyal to the king. A lot of people don't stay loyal to Yahuwah in a time of adversity when a charlatan, a phony, if you will, because that's what Absalom was, telling lies, trying to deceive the hearts of men. And they switched out. And Yahuwah say, I'm going to switch you out. That's right. Tell him again. 2 Samuel chapter 17. A charlatan. It was a charlatan. No, we don't really need this. This is when Zadok came back and gave that when it told David about that raggedy counsel of Ahithophel. You know, Ahithophel, you know what he ended up doing? He ended up killing himself. Because he know he had to run up out his mouth. Come over here to Chronicles, though. I mean, 1 Kings chapter 1 to verse 8. Calm down, boy. Y'all in here making too much noise, children. You're making too much noise. We're making 1 Kings 1 and 1. First Kings 1 and 1. Now King David was old and stricken in years, and they covered him with clothes, but he got no heat. Wherefore his servant said unto him, let there be sought for my lord the king a young virgin. Let her stand before the king, let her cherish him, and let her lie in your bosom, that my lord the king may get heat. So they sought a fair damsel throughout all the coasts of Casharol, and found Abishag the Shunammite, and brought her to the king. And the damsel was very fair and cherished. The king ministered to him, but the king knew her not. Then Adaiah, the son of Haggith, exalted himself, saying, I will be king. And he prepared him chariots and horsemen and 50 men to run before him. What y'all know about Adaiah? What y'all know about him? That's David's son. But what y'all know about him? You know about him over there, what? You don't know who Adaiah is? That's why I told you you was unskilled. See, that's why I told you that. Because you got to know that. I'm not being for you to know that. You would have to be able to expound somebody who that is. Stanley, you know who Adonai is? Huh? Deidre, you know who Adonai is? Oh, it's been a while. Adonai is actually the son who was supposed to be king. You have to remember when he had that baby, the first baby that Bathsheba was pregnant with. What did Yahuwah say was gonna happen to that baby? He was gonna kill it. But what did he tell him after that?
He said he was gonna have strife with his son.
He did, but he also told him, "I'm gonna give you a son, and I'm gonna name him Solomon, and he gonna sit on the throne." That come a little after. And then he tried to go in, and what happened to Adonai? He went and grabbed onto the altar and wouldn't come out the temple. And they told him, Joab told him, "Come on out here so I can kill you." He said, "I ain't coming out there." He said, "Don't worry about it, nigga. I'm coming in and kill you." And that what happened to him. You want to see? Come on. I'll read this. I do. I certainly do. There is no lies to be told. There's no, because that's funny to me. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. Go wait. I'll work my way to it. Because this most stuff with Zadok. This is another reason why Zadok is held in high regard, because he didn't switch out with Adonai. He stayed down with David, meaning he stayed down with Yahuwah, and he went and anointed Solomon to be king, because that was what Yahuwah wanted to be done. And some priests switched out and with Adonai. These niggas be switching out. Switching out. Get your whole head knocked off. Let's continue. We're in verse 6. And his father had not displeased him at any time, saying, "Why have you done so?" He was also a very goodly man, and his mother bare him after Absalom. So you see what type of stock he come from. His mama spit out wickedness. She spit out Absalom, then she spit out Adonijah. The two wicked men. And he conferred with Joab, the son of Zeruiah, and with Abiathar the priest, and they following Adonijah helped. Look at Joab. He with it. And Abiathar followed. But Zadok the priest, and Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, and Nathan and Adonijah showed sheep, and fat oxen, and fat cattle by the stone of Zoeleth, which is by Enrogel, and called all his brethren the king's sons and all the men of Yehuda and the king's servants. But Nathan the prophet and Benaiah and the mighty men and Solomon his brother, he called not. That's just like a wicked nigga. Let me win you over with a little bit of victuals. Look at him giving you nice fat sheep and oxen and all this other type of stuff. And that is here for the righteous, and I ain't gonna call them. Because see, they gonna put me on blast. I ain't gonna call them. Ain't too much change in the world. Ain't too much change in the world. Wherefore Nathan spake unto Bathsheba, the mother of Solomon, "Have you not heard that Adonijah, the son of Haggith, do reign, and David our Lord know it not? Now therefore come, let me pray, I pray you, give you counsel, that you may save your own life and the life of your son Solomon. Go and get in unto King David, and say unto him, Did not you, my lord, O king, swear unto your handmaid, saying, Assuredly Solomon your son shall reign after me, and he shall sit upon my throne? Why do Adonijah reign?" Let's move down. Oh, no, he found peace with that sword.
Then he's there, and he told him to go into the house.
Yeah, he didn't look down. Call that sword. Don't let him go down into that grave, you wicked bastard, you. Where we at? Verse 28? Because that's one of them where he gave them instructions. He had to stick to the script. But I remember because we went over that. That's also you grabbing home to the throne of grace to find help in the time of need. But we don't get to that in a minute. Verse 28. That also manifests you also long suffering. Because the nigga ought to die. Right then and there on the spot. But he called his like Shemai called his. Because you don't listen. See, that's what some of y'all problem is. Don't go out like Shemai. You know what I'm talking about? Don't go out like them boys. See, right here, that's what I got here. Because see, add y'all died right about over here. Yeah, and y'all died a little late. Because he don't listen. See, he showed him a little mercy, and then he killed him. But we don't get that in a minute. Hold on. Verse 28 of 1 Kings chapter 1. Then King David answered and said, Call me Bathsheba. He called him into the king's presence, stood before the king. The king swear, as Yahuwah lived, that I redeemed my soul out of distress, even as I swear unto you by Yahuwah Alahym of Yasharal, saying, assuredly, Solomon your son shall reign after me. He shall sit upon my throne in my stead. Even so will I certainly do this day. Then Bathsheba bowed her face to the earth and did reverence to the king and said, let my lord King David live forever. King David said, call me Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet and Benaiah the son of Jehoiada. And they came before the king. The king said also unto them, take with you servants of your lord, call Solomon my son to ride upon my own mule and bring him down to Gihon. So now you know what that is. That's that Zechariah 9 of when Yahusha came in on that ass, on the coast ass, coming through in Matthew or John or whichever one you want to look at it in. Let Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet anoint him there over Yasharal and blow you the trumpet and say, Alahym saved King Solomon. And you can look at Zadok the priest and John the Baptist baptizing Yahusha in that water to anoint him to be king. But let's continue. Then you shall come up after him, that he may come up and sit upon my throne, but he shall be king in my stead. I have appointed him to be ruler over Yasharal and over Yahuwah. Benaiah son of Jehoiada answered the king and said, Amen. Yahuwah Alahym of my Lord, the king say so. You who have been with my lord the king, even so he be with Solomon, and make his throne greater than the throne of my lord King David. So Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet, and Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, and the Cherethites and the Pelethites went down and called Solomon to ride upon King David's mule and brought him to Gihon. And Zadok the priest took a horn of oil out of the tabernacle, anointed Solomon, and they blew the trumpet, and the people said, Alahym save the king, or Hosanna. Hosanna. And the people came up after him, and the people piped with pipes and rejoiced with great joy, so that the earth rent with the sound of him. Now, ain't that something? That these people came out and sang praise when the king was anointed. I don't know what's wrong with these people who have a problem with this activity. And Adonijah and all the guests that were with him heard it, as they had made an end of eating. And when Joab heard the sound of the trumpet, he said, wherefore is the noise of the city being in an uproar? You know what's going on. And while he yet spake, behold, Jonathan, the son of Abiathar the priest, came. And Adonijah said unto him, come in, for you are valiant man. Bring the tidings. Jonathan answered and said to Adonijah, truly our Lord King David hath made Solomon king. And the king hath sent with him Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet and Benaiah the son of Jehoiada and the Cherethites and the Pelethites, and they caused him to ride upon the king's mules. Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet have anointed him king in Gihon, and they are come up thence rejoicing, so that the city rang again. This is the noise that you have heard. And Solomon sit on the throne of the kingdom. Moreover, the king's servant came to bless our Lord King David, saying, Alahym, make the name of Solomon better than your name, make his throne greater than your throne. And the king bowed himself upon the bed. And thus saith the king, blessed be Yahuwah Alahym of Yasharal, which have given one to sit on my throne this day, my eyes having seen it. All the guests that were with Adonijah were afraid and rose up and went every man his way. See, that's what you got on there when you read it with Gamaliel in the book of Acts, when he say certain people rose up themselves to be great men, and Yahuwah took them down because you on your own. And Adonijah feared because of Solomon, and arose and went and caught hold of the horns of the altar. And it was told Solomon, saying, behold, Adonijah feared King Solomon. For lo, he caught hold on the horns of the altar, saying, let King Solomon swear to me that he will not slay his servant with the sword. Solomon said, if he will show himself a worthy man, there shall not a hair of him fall to the earth, but if wickedness be found in him, he shall die. That's the same token when you come and stand before Yahuwah. He said, if there be no wickedness in you, not a single hair of your head gonna fall to the ground. But if he find any man of wickedness, he died tonight. See, that ought to make you reassess your life. You want to go stand before the king when he talk to you like that? I'm going to read that to you again. Solomon said if he would show himself a worthy man, let's look what that means to show yourself. Shalom, what it is to be a worthy man. Let's see if you show yourself to be a worthy man. Hold on. We don't need no more. They don't got this here. It's pretty much it. Is it not though?
Yeah,
That's pretty much it. A lot of people like this here. You a worthy man? Say you ain't no worthy man. Yeah, you got Kyle again. We just seen Kyle yesterday, right? That's a man who got strength. Well, you know what the strength is. That's a man who got faith in Alahym, who trusts in Alahym. Let me see the faith. Notice this here. Notice it ain't say it's the law in it. It said, is he Kyle? Is he a strong man? He got some faith in it. You know, is his mind stayed on you? That's the words it means. He said, but if it be wicked and found in you, we gonna kill you today, son. But guess what? We just looked at Ruah, right? That the fruitful works of the Ruah, right? So that means Zamar. And so when you talk about singing praises, so now you get to see the gentleness and the long suffering of Alahym. Let's look what it says. So King Solomon sent, and they brought him down from the altar, and he came and bowed himself to the king, and to King Solomon. Solomon said, go to your house. Now, also, if you remember, right, we read this yesterday in Hebrews chapter 4. Let us come to the throne of grace for help in our time of need. Because in reality, he's repentant, but he didn't really repent. See, that was that fake repentance. He was just trying to save himself. See, he ended up dying. Let's read about it. Verse 1 of chapter 2. Now the days of David draw near that he should die, and he charged his Solomon his son, saying, I go the way of all the earth. Be you strong. Therefore, show yourself a man. See, that's the thing, right? Remember, we dealt with this a while back. That's what a lot of people problem is. You don't show yourself as no man. You walk around here like you got mango between your legs. You ain't no woman. You don't sit down and eat. You don't believe what's a mind. Show yourself and be a man. He said, keep the charge of Yahuwah your Alahym, to walk in his ways, to keep his statutes, his commandments, his judgments, his testimonies, as is written in the law of Moses, that you may prosper in all that you do. Whether you turn yourself. Listen what he said. That Yahuwah may continue his word which he spake concerning me, if your sons take heed to their way, to walk before me in truth, and with all their heart and with all their soul, that they shall not fall you, said he, a man on the throne of Yasharal. He said, moreover, you know what Joab the son of Zariah did to me, when he did to the two captains of the host of Yasharal, under Abner son of Ner, and Amasa the son of Yether, whom he slew and shed the blood of war and peace, but the blood of war upon his girdle that was about his loins, and his shoes that were on his feet. Do according to your wisdom, and let not his forehead go down to the grave. Now, the reason why I mentioned him, because Joab was with Adnah. He switched out. You know why he switched out? Because of those two men he killed, because David didn't stand it. You know what I'm saying? When he killed Abner, son of Ner, he said, let that junk be on Joab family. He said, I ain't had nothing to do with that. I ain't know nothing about it. Don't you put that on me. Me and bro were cool. You know what I'm saying? So he already knew that Joab was a wicked man. He already knew this. Drop yourself down about verse 13. Then sat Solomon, and Adniah, the son of Haggith, came to Bathsheba, the mother of Solomon. This is what get Adniah killed. And she said, come you peaceably? He said, peaceably. He said, moreover, I have somewhat to say unto you. She said, say on. And he said, you know that the kingdom was mine. That's how you know he was wicked, because he hadn't let that go. And that all Yasharal set their faces on me, that I should reign. No, they didn't. You went out there with some food, nigga, and a party and some smooth words. You know what it said? It said, howbeit the kingdom is turned about, and it's become my brother's, for it was his from Yahuwah. So now you see who had y'all mad with. The people chose me, but y'all didn't. I'm supposed to be king. She supposed to told him go to the house, cuz. He said, now I ask one petition of you, deny me not. She said unto him, say on. Look what he asked for. You just heard about this woman. And he said, speak, I pray you, unto Solomon the king, for he will not say no to you, that he may give me Abishag the Shumanite to wife. That was the woman who was to keep David alive, who was a virgin, who David didn't know. She ended up getting transferred to Solomon. Let's continue. Bathsheba said, well, I will speak for you unto the king. Bathsheba therefore went unto him, King Solomon, to speak unto him for Adnah. The king rose up to meet her and bowed himself unto her and sat down on his throne and caused the seat to be sat for the king's mother, and she sat on his right hand. Then she said, I desire one petition of you, I pray you, say me not nay. And the king said unto her, ask on, my mother, for I will not say you nay. Y'all should remember what it's referred to. It's been many years. Bathsheba in this instance is a similitude of Mashiach, sitting on the right hand of his father and making petitions on your behalf, and that Yahuwah would not tell him no. Is that not what he said? And that's what you see right here with Bathsheba. You see the same thing sprinkled in there real smooth light for you. You know what I'm saying? Underneath the surface, there's a bear witness that he sits upon the throne and to make intercession on your behalf. Because he said, I know I ain't going to tell you no. For the sinner. To make petition for the sinner. Praise you. That's right. Look at what it says. He said, and she said, this is verse 21, let Abishag, the Shumanite, be given to Adonai your brother to wife. King Solomon answered and said unto his mother, and why do you ask Abishag the Shumanite for Adonai? Ask him for the kingdom also, for he is my elder brother, even for him. And Abathar the priest, and for Joab the son of Zeruiah. Then King Solomon swear by Yahuwah, saying, Alahym do so to me, and more also, and Adonai have not spoken his word against his own life. Now therefore, as Yahuwah live, which have established me and set me on the throne of David my father, who have made me a house as he promised, Adonai shall be put to death this day. King Solomon sent by the hand of Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, and he fell upon him that he died. And under Abathar the priest, the king said, get to Antioch unto your own fields, for you are worthy of death. But I will not at this time put you to death, because you bear the ark of Yahuwah Alahym before David my father, and because you were afflicted in all where my father was afflicted. So Solomon thrust out Abathar from being priest unto Yahuwah, that he might fulfill the word of Yahuwah, which he spake concerning the house of Eli and Shiloh. And you know what he told Eli and Shiloh, right? He said, well, none of your sons be PC, I'll give you a faithful priest. Ain't that what he told him? We read that the other day too. The tidings came to Joab, for Joab had turned after Adonai, and though he turned not after Absalom. Joab fled unto the tabernacle of Yahuwah and caught hold on the horns of the altar. And it was cold. King Solomon, Joab fled into the tabernacle of Yahuwah, and behold, he is by the altar. Excuse me, because that's what I was thinking with Joab. He the one who come on now. Someone come on here and kill you right now. He said to him, thus, if the king come forth, and he said, nay, but I will die here. But now brought the king word again, and thus said Joab, and thus he answered me. And the king said unto him, do as he said, fall upon him and bury him, that you may take away innocent blood, which Joab shed from me and from my house of my father. And Yahuwah shall return his blood upon his own head, who fell upon two men more righteous and better than he, and he slew them with the sword, my David not knowing, my father David not knowing. Therefore, to wit, Abner the son of Ner, the captain of the host of Yasharal, and Amasa the son of Yither, the captain of the host of Yahuwah. And the blood therefore shall return upon the head of Joab, and upon the head of his seed forever, and upon David, and upon his seed, and upon his house, and upon his throne, there shall be shalom forever from Yahuwah. So Benaiah the son of Yehuda went up and fell upon him and slew him and buried him in his own house in the wilderness. All because they turned and went after. See what it said with Abathar, say Joab and me. They say you didn't go after Absalom, went after this. But the one key constant you seen was Zadok ain't go nowhere. Zadok stayed firm. What is the lesson you take from that? Ride with the one who is chosen and stay with it. Stay with Yahusha. Don't go running after that beast. Don't be going running after somebody who make it sound good. You better stay with the one who you know you are rolling with. Back to Ezekiel chapter 48. And this is why you see Zadok being mentioned in Ezekiel 48, because Zadok was righteous. He stayed with David in the midst of two coups. Absalom tried to overthrow him, and Zadok rolled out. That's why you see Abathar get spared. He said, but you know what? I'm going to put you out the priest's office. That's why you see the Levite get on out of here. That's what that's pointing to, because y'all switched out. So I'm going to put you out. But Zadok, y'all going to roll. Y'all going to roll. But y'all got to go. That's why I say the Levites that went astray in Ezekiel. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. 48:11, Ezekiel 48:11. It shall be for the priests that are sanctified of the sons of Zadok, which have kept my charge, that went not astray when the sons of Yasharal went astray, as the Levites went astray. This oblation of the land is offered, shall be unto them a thing most Kadash by the border of the Levites. And over against the border of the Levites, the priests, the Levites, shall 25,000 in length, 10,000 in breadth. All the length shall be 25,000, and the breadth 10,000. And listen what it says: they shall not sell it, neither exchange nor alienate the first fruits of the land, for it is Kadash unto Yahuwah. Now, I'm going to give you these things right here. You got exchange. That's myrrh. That's to be exchanged on the altar. You can't alter the land. You can't do nothing to it. Now, when you turn around, of course, you know, sell it is car. You can't sell it. But to alienate, you have a bar. And that is to transgress, to pass through, to cease to exist, to make invalid. But for this one here, they won't be able to transgress against the first fruits of the land. Now, you got I.E., Bot, and Raj for that, and that's pretty simple. You can't transgress. The Levites supposed to know the sons of the highest, so they can't alienate or transgress against the first fruits. And that allows me to transition to my next point, Exodus chapter 13. We'll pick this up, Exodus 13. 13 and 10. Exodus 13 and 10. Therefore you shall keep this ordinance in this season from year to year. It shall be when Yahuwah shall bring you into the land of the Canaanites, as he sware unto you and to your fathers, and shall give it to you. You shall set apart unto Yahuwah all that open the matrix, every firstling that come of beast, which you have, the male you shall break his neck, all the firstborn among men, among your sons, shall you redeem. Now let's look at son. First, we'll look at redeem, just on general principle. You have padah, that is to rescue or to deliver or to redeem. Pay, dalit, and hay, and you can proceed. Pay, dalit, and hay. He say, all the firstborn among your sons, you must redeem. Y'all know what the matrix is, right? You know what the matrix is? Who in here don't know what the matrix is? Y'all know, Callie, you know what the matrix is? Yeah, you do. You think you don't, but you do. You know how you do? Because you're finna do it for the third time. You know what I'm talking about? Have a baby.
That's crazy on the movie. That's what he had to do doing. He came back in the reborn.
Because I'm gonna tell you, the word for matrix is rakim. Simply mean womb. Why they chose that word, matrix, I don't know, but it's a woman's womb. What y'all got for that? Padah, pay, dollar, and hay.
To present the man, raise his arms,
Pay, dollar, hay. Pay, dollar, and hay. Say, behold the way of Yahusha. That's what's wrong, baby. I can get it for redeem.
I was gonna say Yahusha is interested.
I can dig it. I can dig it. Now let's look at matrix, right? You got Rosh, cotton, meat. With that one, there's just you separated by the Ruach Alahym. Everyone that comes out of the matrix. Now listen, what I'm telling you now. This is what I'm telling you now, because we didn't talk about this here, right? You know we got to go look at it, right? Come on into Matthew chapter 28 then. Because we talking about first fruit. After you go to Matthew chapter 28, you could take you a trip to John chapter 5. After you take you a trip to John chapter 5, I'll remember what I want after that. Matthew chapter 28, John chapter 5. Matthew 28, 1. Hey, little boy. Hey, little boy. Hey, little boy. We're going to check you. Oh, that's you, Grandma. That's you down there with all that shenanigans. Oh, you're not with the shenanigans. Yes.
Gotta wait. Sit down.
Matthew 28:1. In the Shabbat, as it began to dawn towards the first day of the week, came Mary Magdalene and the other Mary to see the sepulchre. And behold, there was a great earthquake. For the angel of Yahuwah descended from heaven and came and rolled back the stone of the door and sat upon it. His countenance was like lightning, his raiment white as snow. And for fear of him, the keepers did shake and became as dead men. Alahym answered and said unto the woman, fear you not. Right. For I know that you seek Yahushua, which was crucified. He is not here, for he is risen. As he said, come see the place where the Lord lay. Now, he done came about this grave, right? Which means he done came about the matrix. Or he's been born from the womb. Because what did he tell you in the heart of the earth? He also gave you that explanation in John chapter 16, when he said you can have a lot of pain, woman have a lot of pain, and then a man child be born, and then she don't remember it no more. Well, we had already talked about earlier in Lamentations chapter 3 about the grief and how a man should not complain for his sins. But once she done gave birth, the pain done went away. Ain't nothing but joy. Because, pain endure for a night, but joy come in the morning. But let's come over here, and let's not go to John chapter 5 quite yet. Let's take a trip and swing over here to Colossians chapter 1, if you will. Colossians chapter 1, you can pick it up at verse 12. Little Lizzie. Little Abigail. Lizzie, where your hair covered? What you doing? What you do with it? Why don't you have it on? You think you need to put it on? Don't put that hair covering on, Renee. Them chips ain't going nowhere. I guarantee you they're not alive. They can't walk. They can't eat that many chips. Sit down, son. Colossians chapter 1 and verse 12. They giving thanks unto Abba, which have made us meet to be partakers with the inheritance of the saints in light, who have delivered us from the power of darkness and translated us into the kingdom of his dear Son, of whom we have redemption through his blood, even for the forgiveness of sins, who is the image of the invisible Alahym, the firstborn of every creature. For by him were all things created that are in Shamahim, that are in earth, visible, invisible, whether they be thrones, dominions, or principalities, or powers. All things were created by him and for him. He is before all things, and by him all things consist. He is the head of the body, the house, who is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, that in all things he might have preeminence. Now, let's look at this here, right? He the firstborn of the dead. He said all firstborn of your sons belong to who? They belong to Yahuwah. John chapter 5. Thank you, Lizzie. John chapter 5, verse 24. After that, 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. So what allows an individual to get raised from the dead? He got to be separated by the Ruach Alahym, or he got to be a worthy man. He got to be a strong man. See, Adnyah wasn't a worthy man. That's why he died. He didn't die right then, but he died eventually. Because what did he do? He went up there, and guess what? That request of Adnyah lined up with what's in James. You ask not because you ask amiss, because you ask to consume it upon your lust, and therefore you don't get it. And he got what he deserved, which was a sword on his head. Because what was Adonyah's actual intent? To try to find a way to take that kingdom. And how? Go ahead.
I'm going to say his mom, the same mom as Absalom.
Same mom as Absalom. And how do we know that was Adonyah's intent? Because he back both said it. You know the kingdom supposed to be mine. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? Bathsheba might have been like, I know what Solomon gonna do. He a wise man. I'm going around there and tell it so he can kill it. Huh? Yeah, it's my kingdom. It's mine. Look at how I gave y'all. Look at, I'm so benevolent. I gave you oxens. I've thrown parties for you. So yeah, watch, nigga. That's how wicked people try to get you. You know what I'm saying? Here, I got these gifts for you. That's to grease you up later. So they can ramrod you. Then you sitting around there looking sick in the face. You've been violated. You've been spiritually molested. You've been duped. John 5:24. Truly, truly, I say unto you, he that hear my word and believe on me, and that I say unto you, the hour is coming now is, when the dead shall hear the voice of the Son of Alahym, and they that hear shall live. For as Abba have life in himself, so is he given to the Son to have life in himself, and have given him authority to execute judgment also, because he is the Son of Man. Marvel not at this, the hour is coming, in which all that are in the grave shall hear his voice, and they that shall come forth, and they that have done good unto the resurrection of life, and they that have done evil unto the resurrection of damnation. Well, we looked at that first resurrection yesterday, and what did he say they would be? Kings and priests. Priests specifically. I'm over here to 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. So what we're looking at the first fruit of the dead. You understand? Revelation 20 tell you that too, right? You don't come up on that first resurrection, I hate it for you. Because it's a strong chance you going to hell. After 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, Revelation 20. 4 and 13.
Gotta wait.
Wait. And your shirt says, why? You might want to get off that door.
Move.
1 Thessalonians 4 and 13. Now the bathroom is free for your usage. But I would not have you to be ignorant, brethren, concerning them which are asleep, that you sorrow not, even as others which have no hope. For we believe that Yahushua died and rose again, even so then which sleep in Yahushua will Alahym bring with him. For this we say unto you by the word of the Lord, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of the Lord shall not prevent them which are asleep. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout and the voice of an archmalachim, with the trump of Alahym, and the dead in Mashiach shall rise first. Now go to Revelation 20. And 11. And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and heaven fled away. There was found no place for them. I saw the dead, small and great, stand before Alahym, and the books were open. And another book was open, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books, according to their works. And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them. And they were judged every man according to their works. Death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. Whosoever was not found in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. Now, if your name found in the book of life, that would mean you had a ruach. And if you had the ruach, you'd be part of the first fruits or the firstborn from the dead. Would you not? See, because we ain't looking at the first fruits of receiving the spirit. We're looking at the first fruits who born of the matrix. You seen that Yahushua was born of the matrix because he was born from the womb, that womb being the grave. Now he's sanctified and belongs to Yahuwah. Swing back to Exodus chapter 13. Because see, now what are we looking at? It said in Colossians that Yahushua was what? The firstborn from the dead, right? Now hold on. Hebrews, Epistle of Hebrews. I'm trying to make sure that's what I want. Right there. Don't sit on the pillow. Don't sit on the pillow. worry about evil. That's not what I want. I can't recall the location what I decided. I just recall that word that he had to come and bring with him many brethren. But we'll get to that in a moment. Oh, come back up here to Exodus 13. I forgot verse 1. I definitely forgot verse 1. It said, Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, sanctify unto me all firstborn, whatsoever open the wombs among the sons of Yasharal, both man and beast, it is mine. Now there is nothing there that says it is mine. It just say both man and beast. Now when we look at firstborn, it's a word we done dealt with before, and we're going to look at it again, and it is Bakor, and you have Bat, you got Ka, you got U, and you got Raj. Meaning every firstborn of every animal and every man belong to you. See, like even the instance, like, let's put it this way. So for the complete and total context, like the firstborn son of Rachel was Reuben. Leah, excuse me. So he belonged to Yahuwah. Firstborn son of Rachel is Joseph. So he belongs to Yahuwah. Because it's not necessarily in the regards of the firstborn, period. Like if a dude had more than one wife at that time period, that firstborn son from that woman is considered to be his firstborn from her. You know what I'm saying? So he belonged to Yahuwah. But if it's from the same woman, it stopped with the first one she had. That's why you seen Joseph get that much deference from Jacob versus all the other ones, because he was the firstborn of the woman that he actually loved. You know what I'm saying? Leah felt like if she had all these kids that he would love her. But as soon as Joseph slid out that womb, that's where his heart was at. And of course, Reuben had defiled his father's couch. So that ain't making no better for Reuben. Sully. Reuben was feeling himself. You got Bat, Kaf, U, and Raj for the firstborn. Well, already you see you got son of the highest with that Bat and that Raj. You know what I'm saying? Got that U in there. You got that Kaf. Well, if you got that Kaf, you might be subdued. If you've been subdued, now you've been secured to become a son of the highest. Being subdued, transfer that out and say being humble. Because all the firstborns gonna have to be humble. Why? Because the firstborn of the dead was humble because he died. And what did he die for? Because of your sins. And he got smited on his cheek and was reproached. But let's continue. Drop down a little bit. We're in verse 14, I believe, of Exodus 13. And it shall come to pass, and it shall be when your son asks you when the time to come, saying, what is this? That you shall say unto me, by the strength of the hand, Yahuwah brought us out from Mizraim, from the house of bondage. It came to pass when Pharaoh would hardly let us go, and Yahuwah slew all the firstborn in the land of Mizraim, both the firstborn of man and the firstborn of beast. Therefore I sacrifice to Yahuwah all that open the matrix, being males, but all the firstborn of my sons I redeem. Now, what do you think he just told you? That you'll sacrifice all that come through the womb. He say, but the firstborn male, he say he gonna redeem that one, or the padah. He gonna rescue and deliver that one. This is verse 16. And it shall be for a token upon your hands and a frontlet between your eyes, for by the strength of the hand of Yahuwah brought us out of the land of Mizraim. Now look at what he's telling you. He said that should be a mark in your head and in your hand, right? We already know the beast's gonna try to emulate that. So the beast is coming through, he's gonna do the opposite. He don't want to redeem the firstborn. He want to sacrifice everybody. He say sacrifice everybody that come out the womb, but rescue the firstborn. What do y'all think that could mean? Well, let's look and see. Well, we mentioned it yesterday, that he give you the power to become the sons of Alahym, because the law came by Moses, right? The grace and truth came by Yahushua HaMashiach, of favor and faith, the reliability, the steadfastness of the word. This is what came through the Son. Now, we know that Yahushua said that he didn't come to be ministered unto, but to minister and to be what? A ransom for many. Now, we look at Romans 13 and 14. What does it tell you to do? To put on who? Yahushua HaMashiach, and make no provisions for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. We just talked about this about a week or so ago. And who does that point us to? If you're putting on Yahushua, what does that point us to? Esau. Who is Esau? The firstborn. So the only ones that he's going to redeem are those who have put on the Ruach HaKodesh. Everybody else is going to be sacrificed, or you will be slaughtered. As we just read, I think in Psalms 99 or one of them Psalms yesterday. Because that's what the law say, right? Firstborn redeemed. Now, of course, they weren't sacrificing people. Somebody believed that. They use a fool. You know what I'm talking about? But what he was telling you was, I'm going to rescue and ransom the firstborn. Because he was already telling you how he was going to rescue and ransom Yahushua for the slaying of the firstborn in Egypt. That's something that we dealt with a long time ago as well. That slaying of the firstborn in Egypt was symbolic of the slaying of Mashiach to deliver you from bondage. See, if you read these stories and they talk all that talk, but you don't know what you're talking about. Because if somebody tell you, so why he killed the firstborn? Most people can't answer that question. Ask yourself, why is a twofold thing and why he killed the firstborn. Number one, he was killing all the firstborn sons of Yasharal when he was in Egypt. So let me reward you as you rewarded them. See, that's the first thing, because you got to know Yahuwah. It's an eye for an eye, 2 for 2. What you thought to do to him, I'm going to do it unto you. But then when you get on the spiritual aspect of it pertaining to the gospel, let me slay this firstborn. Because what happened when the firstborn in Egypt was slayed? He came out of Egypt. What happens when this firstborn son was slain? You came out of bondage because you were freed from sin. You understand? So this is how these things go 2 and 2 together. But now, because he's redeemed this firstborn, when he didn't redeem the firstborn in Egypt, now you belong to him. Let's come over here to Numbers chapter 3, if you would. He's always asking for a donation. One day I might donate to him. I don't think they need the money. Just don't. But that's just me. I also looked at, that's what I forgot. I did have right there. But for what I have for Padah was Yahushua was sacrificed from the foundation of the world. You know what I'm saying? And that's the ransom and the rescue. Why was Yahushua slain from the foundation of the world? To redeem that firstborn? Yes, sir. Is Psalms 139, right? He said, all my members, I knew them, and they were written in the book, right? You know what he said? Let me get it for you, because he said it correctly. Psalms 139 and 9. Eugene, who you open up playing with? Man. Make it verse 8. Psalms 139 and 8.
Right.
He said, if I ascend up into heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in hell, you are there. Because Yahuwah fills the whole entire earth. Ain't a space where Yahuwah don't occupy. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there shall your hand lead me, your right hand shall hold me. If I shall say, surely the darkness shall cover me, even the night shall be a light about me. May the darkness hide not from you, but the night shine as the day. The darkness and the light are both alike to you. For you have possessed my reins, you have covered me in my mother's womb. I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, that my soul know right well. My substance was not hid from you when I was made in secret, curiously wrought in the lower parts of the earth. Now, what you think he's talking about? Who was made in the lower parts of the earth? No one, but one. This is something we done dealt with in the past too, so we got to stir up your minds by way of remembrance. This is talking about the resurrection of the dead. See that? That's what he's talking about. And look what he said right after that. Then your eyes did see my substance, yet being imperfect, and in your book all my members were written, and which in continuance were fashioned when as yet there was none of them. Now we'll go in this language, and you can see for yourself exactly what this says and what's being conveyed. Just look at what Psalms 139 telling you, because he's telling you a lot of things. First, let's look at you fearfully and wonderfully made, because a lot of people like to say that, don't usually women. You laughing, you must have said it to somebody last week. When you look at wonderfully made, the word is palah. Listen to what it means. It means to be distinct and to be set apart, to be separated, to be distinguished. So when you fearfully or wonderfully made, you are set apart. And guess what it is? Hey, lamad and hey, because the word is palah. So guess what you get to see out of that? How the shepherd words separate, so it bears witness to you being separated. And if you receive the Ruach HaKodesh, that's the spirit of separation. See, pause. See, come over here to Romans chapter 1 real quick. See Romans 1:1, if you would. Praise the Lord. Romans 1:1. Paul, a servant of Yahushua HaMashiach, called to be an apostle, separated unto the gospel of Alahym, which he promised afore by his prophets in the Kadosh scriptures, concerning his son Yahushua HaMashiach, our Lord, who according to this which was made of the seed of David according to the flesh, and declared to be a son of Alahym, the son of Alahym, with power according to the Ruach of Kadosh by the resurrection of the dead. So you cannot become a son of Alahym without the Ruach HaKodesh. It's impossible. Come on back to Psalms 139. That's what it means to be wonderfully made. Now, when you look at marvelous, it's the same, it's palah. And that's to be marvelous, to be wonderful, or separate by distinguishing action, or to separate by an offering. And that you got pay, lamad, and olive. So now you can turn around and look at how the leader's teaching is the word. You know what I'm saying? If you want to sit back and look at it, because this is what caused you to be distinguished, because he told you that that same comforter would dwell in you and would do what? Bring to remembrance everything that he said to you. Now, when we look at yet being unperfect, all my book words being remembered. Number one, unperfect is golem. That is fetus. Fetus. Gamal, lamad, and me. So what do you take of that? That the messenger teaches of the Ruach. And what did we look at the other day? That the priest's lips should keep knowledge, and the people should seek the law at his mouth, for he is the messenger of Yahuwah of hosts. Now, of course, you know, in your book, in Safar, all the members being written is kathab, which is to write or to record. So he said that yet so what it tells you is your eyes saw my fetus in your book, and they were written in continuance. Well, what is a fetus? That's a child. What does that take you back with that child? He said, Jeremiah, before I knew you, before you were formed in the belly, I knew you, and I had already sanctified you. And they were fashioned in continuance. So and that take you back to you being conformed to the image of his son, as it's written in Romans chapter 8. But come over here to Numbers chapter 3. And all this is still dealing with what's in Ezekiel 48, that you cannot transgress, that the priest cannot transgress the first fruits of the land. You know what I'm talking about? That can't happen. Come on to Numbers 30, man. Numbers chapter 3, excuse me. Pick it up at verse 11, if you will. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, and I behold, and I have taken the Levites from among the sons of Yasharal, instead of all the firstborn that opened the matrix among the sons of Yasharal. Therefore, the Levites shall be mine, because all the firstborn are mine. For on the day that I smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, I hollowed unto me all the firstborn in Yasharal, O man and beast, mine shall they be. I am Yahuwah. Now let's look at what he said. He said, all the firstborn are mine. Now it says because the firstborn is got yom, so it's got day. So the firstborn on the day that he smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, he hollowed or made Kadash, both man and beast, because he says, I am Yahuwah. You know what Kadash is? That means he sanctified them in purpose and dedicated them and made them holy for him. That's Kuf, Dalit, and Shan, if you would. So go ahead and get paid to that last sacrifice. That's what he did. So when you get made set apart on this back end, what did he tell you about that in Revelation 20? Blessed and Kadash is he that have part in what? The first resurrection. You got part in the first resurrection because you've been paired to that last sacrifice, or you paired to that last Adam. And he said, everyone that is of the firstborn, he has sanctified for himself. Everybody that is born of Yahushua HaMashiach is seen as the firstborn. Matter of fact, pause. Hebrews chapter 12. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 22. When you are to the general assembly and of the house of the firstborn. Unstable. I want to reconnect. There you go. And to the general assembly of the house of the firstborn, which are written in heaven, and the Alahym, judge of all, and to the ruachs of just men made perfect. Notice that he say to the general assembly. Let's look at what it says for general assembly. You see, they say the church or the house or the synagogue of the firstborn, because who the only people dwelling in the house? He'll be your Alahym, and he will give you an inheritance. Because who's the only one who get an inheritance in this text? Firstborn son. That's it. That's it. Firstborn son, only one got a right to an inheritance. If the firstborn, remember how we dealt with that? The father leaving an inheritance to his son.
That's probably why the man felt so pretty too.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was firstborn. He didn't get his inheritance.
He didn't get his inheritance. But he didn't want it though. What good is this birthright do for me? Seeing I need some meat. That's what he said. Give me them red potted lentils. Cared nothing about no birthright. Then when he thought he could be wicked. Why was he wicked? Because his God was his belly. He minded earthly things. You know what I'm talking about? And still thought you was gonna get what you were supposed to get the lies you tell. Now when you got General Assembly, it says Pagagoris or Panagores. It is a festal gathering of the whole people to celebrate public games or other solemnities, or a public festal assembly. So basically, what is this telling you? Just a mass meeting, or rather a regular Kadash convocation. You know what I'm saying? So he ain't telling you that it's to everybody. He's telling you what's in Leviticus. This is a mass gathering. But when you get to this house of the firstborn. Now, of course, you got for church, it's Ecclesia, which of course is an assembly of Israelites, an assembly of people convened at a public place for the word. Let's see the Greek word for firstborn. We already know what it should say. Firstborn is protokos. Of course, it's firstborn of all creation. Notice that he turned around when he go to talking about the firstborn, that they are written in heaven, and that they have the spirits of just men who've been made complete. And Yahushua is the mediator of the new covenant, and the blood of the sprinkling that speaks better things than that of Abel. Because when Yahushua blood spoke, it spoke way better than what Abel blood spoke. And the book say his blood cried out. Yahushua blood cried out too, but it cried out a little better promise. Huh? Because what? I think Abel was the firstborn too, wasn't he? So Cain was. Cain was the firstborn. You had to get rid of Cain. You know why you had to get rid of Cain? Cain was of the flesh. Like I tell you, children of the flesh persecute the children of the spirit. It is this day. So let's go ahead and get two birds with one stone. Child of the flesh, kill the child of the spirit. That's what we just talked about this not too long ago. So you can get you a new son. You know what I'm saying? Saying don't, because see, Cain don't count because he was of the wicked one. And see, people see that he was of the wicked one, and they think Satan had sex with Eve and they had a baby. You big dummy. He said you of your father the devil. He said if you from the heart, not because Satan put his penis in Eve and had a baby. That don't even make common sense. Throwing all type of script. None of that don't make no sense. My first question gonna be, where you see it say Satan put his meat in that woman? What make you think a spirit got a penis? What? It was that slow. They said that fruit wasn't no fruit. That was that young, strong dog. Flesh and bone. He flesh and bone. They like to say. He said he ain't got no bones in his body but that bone. Boy, these boys crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? How is the spirit gonna produce semen? He a spirit? Got a human seed? Well, is he a spirit or is he a human? That's just simple. That's a simple question. So you're telling me he got seed? If the angel got seed, then he ain't an angel. Because then he got blood. You can't have seed without blood. That's why the word Alahym wasn't no effect till the blood got shed. Simple question. Then they get mad at you. Nigga, you just can't get it. Or just get this here, nigga. When did the book say the angels are ministering spirits, flames of fire? Where you get blood from that? You can't have seed without blood. You can't have seed without water. So you mean to tell me an angel is walking around with working testicles in a scrotum? Come on, man. In the form, which means the similitude, not amen. So he formally knocked your mama back. Come on, man. All you have to do is ask simple questions. You know what I'm saying? Why would the angel want to have sex? Why would he have? But the angels didn't want to have sex. The men did. The angels ain't say, you know what? It would be kind of fun to do that. You know what I'm saying? The angels like, man, these boys around here, fucking around here, live. What y'all got going on out here? Man, I tried to give my daughters, man, they ain't want it. They say, yeah, we're gonna tell on these boys as soon as we get back to the house. You know what I'm talking about? That will be son us down here for these boys. Wow. These boys don't even know. An angel doesn't even have need for sexual pleasure. And Yahusha told you that the children of the resurrection are as the angels in heaven that are not given into marriage nor married. Why would a spiritual being need to have sex? At that point, you're saying Yahuwah need to have sex and you ought to go to him. You know what I'm saying? At that point, you saying Yahuwah is in heaven and sometimes he get a sexual inclination and wants to have sex. That's what you're saying. If you saying his angels want to have sex, you saying he want to have sex. Niggas ought to go to him. You're blaspheming that mighty name by which you were called. Is this pure tomfoolery? What was she feeding you over there, boy? She getting you right? Or she ain't feeding you nothing? Back to number 3, man. We got other stuff to look at, but this stuff we ain't gonna do nothing for us. So what we coming out here for? Verse 39. I mean, the Nephilim that came about, they just was tall people. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, because when they tell you that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, the sons of God are Adam or Seth and his offspring. I'm not even sure there's the word Nephilim even in the Hebrew.
That's giant.
Just tall. That's what's up. Just tall. Definitely ain't number tall people. Like, I mean, we got. That's why people say, see, that's angel DNA when they see people like Shaq, Alahym, because they are irregular. When they say Goliath was 9 feet tall, well, he was just 9 feet tall.
Don't say that. Scott Fernandez was like, it was the sons of Anna.
Yeah, they tell you who these people is.
Yeah.
Sons of Anna. Well, I don't know what meters is, man, because we don't go by the metric system. But we done did it before. He was about 9 feet tall. Anybody know what 3 meters translates to?
3 meters.
I'll Google it. I forgot he in Europe. They do. Yeah, 9 feet, 9'10" to be exact. He was about 10 feet tall. I think the tallest man record in our lifetime was like 8 feet tall. Shoot, y'all mean about 7'7". Manu Bowl about 7'7". Manu Bowl looked like he about to die. That boy was so frail. You know what I'm talking about? But those like people like Shaq would be considered to be giants because the average person is not that big. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like that's why people say, you know, when people see tall people, it's the first thing they say, you play basketball? Because in reality, it's not that many 6'10", 7 foot tall, 6'8", 6'9" people walking around the earth. You don't see that many tall people like that in your day-to-day goings. You just don't. You know what I'm saying? What they say the average height is for a man, about 5'10", 5'9". It used to be about 5'6" and 5'7" at one point in modern time. So if that's the average height, then when you see, if you take that into account, that people see people 6'5", 6'6", 7 feet tall, yeah, they gonna be like, that nigga's a giant. You know what I'm saying? That's irregular. You know what I'm talking about? Look how people act when they see a woman who be about 5'9". She's a giant. You don't see no tall women like that every day.
So both of them boys, Taco Fall and Manu Bowl.
Them Hamites.
Hamites, boy. They from the same place.
They from the same. Probably sons of Enoch they sell. Probably sons of Enoch they sell. Them Hamites. Because when you come down to it, and it's not being funny, you don't see many brews that tall. That are of that stock. Not that tall.
Yeah, they like a shack. They don't look.
Yeah, they say them one, say them two.
They look full.
And solid.
Solid, yeah. Niggas look like
tall.
Niggas look like him.
Oh yeah, all day long. They definitely look like him. Like even you take the Chinese, how tall Yao Ming is. That is an anomaly amongst them people. Them people don't get that tall. How many 6'3", 6'4" Chinese people you done seen? I mean, truth be told, how many 6'3", 6'4", 6'5" people you seen of any race on a regular basis? Man, for the most part, everybody come. I was telling this other day, but everybody come from the sons of Adam. I mean, Noah, Shem, and Yafet. And for the most part, everybody look the same. You know what I'm saying? Most people, they call it average looking, meaning that everybody looks alike. There's not too many people who have facial features, male or female, that dramatically stand out from the mass of the population. You know what I'm saying? Like people can kind of be like, oh, that nigga's ugly, but most of the time, this person's average. There's very few people that, boy, that nigga ugly. You know what I'm saying? Male or female. It's like it's not as many women you be like, boy, that is one of the most beautiful women I ever seen. Most people blend in amongst other people. And that's coming because you come from the same stock of people. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you just come from a whole bunch of different lineage of people. Everybody come from the same, for lack of a better term, grandfather, because I can't add all the greats to get you back to Noah. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you look like 3 sons that Noah had, which means you look like what Adam them looked like. Everybody come from the same stock. You know what I'm saying? And that's why a lot of people are like, oh, you look like such and such, or you look like such and such. You know what I'm saying? It's all from the same family lineage and family tree. We don't like to sit there and talk about that and think about that But that's the reality. Numbers chapter 3, verse 39, so we can wrap this up. He said, but those that encamp before the tabernacle before the east, even before the tabernacle of the congregation eastward, shall be Moses, Aaron, and his sons, keeping the charge of the sanctuary. For the charge of the sons of Yasharal, the stranger that come near shall be put to death. All that were numbered of the Levites, which Moses and Aaron numbered, at the commandment of Yahuwah throughout their families, all the males a month old upward, even 20 and 2,000. Yahuwah said unto Moses, number all the firstborn of the males of the sons of Yasharal, from a month old upward, and take the number of their names. You shall take the Levites for me, I am Yahuwah, instead of all the firstborn among the sons of Yasharal, the cattle of the Levites, instead of all the firstlings among the cattle of the sons of Yasharal. And Moses numbered, as Yahuwah commanded, all the firstborn of the sons of Yasharal, and the firstborn males by the number of names from a month old and upward, of those that were numbered of them were 122,273. So notice that he said from a month old up. They was a month old, they were his. All of them got redeemed. That is correct, Gerald. I would say so. I would say so. Now, when you look at here, drop down to verse 45. I think I read verse 45. Did it not? It said, Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, take the Levites instead of all the firstborn of the sons of Yasharal, and the cattle of the Levites instead of their cattle, and the Levites shall be mine. I am Yahuwah. And for those that are be redeemed of the 100, of the 203 score and 13 of the firstborn of the sons of Yasharal, which are more than the Levites, you shall peace by the pole after the shekel of the sanctuary, and you shall take them. The shekel is 20 gerahs, and you shall give the money whereat the odd number of them is to be redeemed unto Aaron and to his sons. Moses took the redemption money of them that were over and above them that were redeemed by the Levites. Of the firstborns of the sons of Yasharal, he took money, 1,300 score, and 5 shekels after the shekels of the sanctuary. And Moses gave the money of them that were redeemed unto Aaron and to his sons, according to the word of Yahuwah, as Moses commanded. Now, when you look at, right, that the money for the redeemed was given to who? Given to the high priest. That was given to Aaron. But now when you look at it here, right, he said he took the firstborn instead of who? I mean, took the Levites instead of the firstborn. Now we know that the Levites are what? They joined to Yahuwah. So now when you come up here and you join with Yahushua, as he stated in another place, who are you joined with? You join with Yahuwah. But notice that he said that they had to be redeemed with what? Money. But what you think about what we finna mention, what did Peter say? You weren't redeemed from the vain conversation of your forefathers with silver and gold and corruptible things. But what were you redeemed up with? With the precious blood of a lamb without blemish. What did Isaiah 52 tell you about? You sold yourselves for nothing, but what? You'll be redeemed without money. And then that which is redeemed is given to who? To the high priest. So those who are redeemed are given to Yahusha, or these that are redeemed would be the first fruits given to the priests because they belong to Yahuwah. Now he tell you don't transgress against the first fruits of the land. So you can't sin against the first fruits, meaning you can't sin against the son. But come back to Ezekiel 48. We're going to finish Ezekiel 48 today. So what are we looking at in this regard? That when it comes to that first fruits or that first redeemed, because guess what? Right? He said the dead of Mashiach will what? Rise first. So those who've been redeemed with the money, which is the blood, and they said, and then they'll be with Mashiach and be with him forever. And this is where you get your first fruit at, as forth as the resurrection of the dead. Because instead of the Levites, or instead of the firstborn, I'm going to take the Levites. Well, he said, if you follow his words, he would dwell in you, and you would dwell in him, and you would be one. So technically, by definition, you would be a what? You would be a Levite. You'd be joined to him. And if you join to him, and you got that Ruach in you, you got that Ruach in you, then you're a firstborn, and you have right to come dwell in here. Because he already told you he redeemed you to be what? Kings and priests, and he wants you to come serve in his temple. But you can't serve in his temple unless you're a Levite. So either way it goes, he made a way where he can get everybody. I'm going to get this Levite. I'm going to get this firstborn. You're all mine because you belong to me. But if you choose not to take this redemption money, if you choose not to take this payment, then you know what? I got to kill you. See, you worthy of death. You ain't a strong man. We say you're not a worthy man. Now we got to do you like a Donayah and cut your head off. because you asking for stuff that ain't yours. Verse 15, Ezekiel 48. And the 5,000 that are left in the breadth over against the 25,000 shall be a profane place for the city, for dwellings, for suburbs, and the city shall be in the midst thereof. You know what a profane place is, right? That's the common place. That's the sinner place. That's lake place. And these are the measures thereof. The north side, 4,000. Hold on, let me get that for you. There's a lot of people that overlook on that now, so they weren't ready for that. He's telling you you're going to hell. They don't want to hear. Profane, the word is cold. Kat lamar, profaneness, commonness. Unholy, profane. This is unholy. This is for the unholy. They had that profane over there for the unholy. Well, we know who the unholy is. Now, suburbs is mikdash. And that's a common, it's open land. Open land. He said, these shall be the measures thereof. The north side, 400,000. So we're not putting all of that. Well, hold on. On the south side, 4,500. On the east side, 4,500. On the west side, 4,500. The suburbs of the city shall be the north towards the north 250, towards the south 250, towards the east 250, towards the west 250. The residue in the length against the obulation of the holy portion shall be 10,000 eastward, 10,000 westward. It shall be over the obulation of the Kadash portion. The increase thereof shall be food unto them that serve the city. And they that serve the city shall serve it out of all the tribe of Yasharal. All the obulation shall be 25,000 by 25,000. You shall offer Kadash obulation 4 square with the possession of the city. The residue shall be for the prince on the one side, and on the other Kadash obulation, and of the possession of the city, over against the 25,000 of the obulation towards the east border, westward over against 25,000 the west border, over against the portions for the prince. It shall be the Kadash obulation, and the sanctuary of the house shall be in the midst thereof. Over the possession of the Levites from the possession of the city, being in the midst of that which is in the princes, between the border of Yehuda, the border of Benjamin, and shall be for the prince. Notice that everything is for who? The prince. As of the rest of the tribes from the east side unto the west side, Benjamin shall have a portion. It dropped down to verse 31 because it's just talking about everybody having a portion and dividing their lots. And the gates of the city shall be after the names of the tribes of Yasharal. 3 gates northward, 1 gate for Reuben, Judah, and Levi. On the east side, 4,500, 3 gates, 1 for Joseph, Benjamin, and Dan. On the south side, 4,500 measures, 3 gates for Simeon, 1 gate for Issachar, and another one for Zebulun. On the west side, 4,500, and you got 3 gates for Gad, Asher, and Naphtali. And it was round about 18,000 measures. And the name of the city from that day shall be Yahuwah is there. Now we just sat back and looked at, right, that you should sing praises to Yahuwah, right? Now let's go over here to Revelation 19 because we ain't get it the other day. And if you notice that psalm that we read in Psalm 16, it was all about salvation and the goodness and works that Yahuwah worked towards the house of Yasharal. Revelation 19:1. After these things, I heard a great voice of much people in heaven saying, Hallelujah, salvation, esteem, honor, and power unto you, Alahym. For true and righteous are his judgments. For he have judged the great whore which did corrupt the earth with her fornication, and have avenged the blood of his servants at her hand. And again they said, Hallelujah, and her smoke arose forever and ever. The 24 elders and 4 beasts fell down and worshiped Alahym that sat on the throne, saying, Amen, Hallelujah. And a voice came out of the throne saying, Praise our Alahym, all you his servants, all you that fear him, both small and great. And I heard that was the voice of a great multitude, and as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of mighty thundering, saying, Hallelujah, for Yahuwah Alahym omnipotent reign. Let us be glad and rejoice and give honor to him. For the marriage of the Lamb is come, and her wife herself ready. And to her was granted that she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white. For fine linen is the righteousness of saints. And he said unto me, right, Baruch are they which are called unto the marriage supper of the Lamb. He said unto me that these are the true sayings of Alahym. Notice when they tell him with that marriage supper of the Lamb, what did they begin to do? They began to praises to you. You're supposed to honor his name, but most importantly, it needs to be done with understanding. Also turning around looking at, and when you sit back and look at it, they'll be singing praises in that fashion because the name of the city would be Yahuwah is there, because nobody can transgress against the first fruits of the land. First fruits of the land are those who've been redeemed to Yahuwah instead of the firstborn. But notice what we said in both, that those firstborn and the Levites, they both were his. The only difference he did with the firstborn is he didn't put the firstborn in the tabernacle to work. That's the only difference. He never said the firstborn weren't his, did he? He said they were his, did he not? He said, I'm just going to redeem the Levites for the firstborn and put the Levites to work in my sanctuary. Because if not, the firstborn would have been the ones that had to go in there. So what is the firstborn representative of? These are the people that Yahuwah wants to serve him. Why is that the quote prodigal son about the son who stayed behind and served his father forever? And he say, son, everything I have is yours. You've always served me. He said, but your brother who went astray and came back, now we're going to rejoice so he can take part in the inheritance of the firstborn son. See, not only does the firstborn son get everything, but the firstborn son serves his father, and he serves him with delight. This is why he seeks to give him everything that is his. You understand? But hallelujah for Yahushua in the word. I bless everybody out of the house of y'all name of Yahushua. I appreciate your time this afternoon. Prayerfully understanding was attained. Yahuwah willing, we'll pick it up on Wednesday as you'll be a part of that first resurrection. Put on that firstborn son from the dead. And let your soul rejoice and praise your Alahym always and continue. And with that being said, till the next time.